Shabbat Shalom, everyone. This evening I will be doing Erev Shabbat. Her name is Princess Ava, and I want to just hope that this evening will be a successful and great evening, and everyone takes heed to all the words that I say. I hope I don't stir anyone away. And I just want to say Shabbat Shalom. I want to say we're going to do prayers. I'm going to start off with the Shabbat prayers. Hallelujah.
Psalms 92, a song or song for the Shabbat day. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
It is a good thing to give thanks unto Yah and to sing praises unto thy name, Most High, to show love and kindness in our morning and our faithfulness every night. Upon an instrument of 10 strings and upon a psaltery, upon a harp with a sound. For thou, Yah, hast made me glad through thy works. I will triumph in the works of thy hands. O Yah, how great are thy works, and thy thoughts are very deep. A brutish man knoweth not, neither do a fool understand this. When the wicked spring as grass, and when all the workers of iniquity do flourish, and they shall be destroyed forever. But thou, O Yah, Most High forevermore, for all our enemies, O Yah, for all our enemies shall perish, and all the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. By the horn, like a horn of a wild ox. I should be anointed with fresh oil. My eyes shall see, I desire my ears, and my desire my enemies that rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like a palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in the Lebanon. Those that planted in the house of Yah shall flourish in the courts of God, and they shall bring forth fruit in old age, and they shall be flat and flourishing, to show that Yah is upright, and he is my rock, and there is no unrighteousness in him. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Psalms 125. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
They that trust in Yah shall be as Mount Zion, which cannot be removed but abideth forever. As the mountains around about Jerusalem, so is Yah around about his people, from henceforth even forever. For the rod of the wicked shall not rest upon the rod of the righteous. Let the righteous put forth their hands to iniquity. Do good, O Yah, to those that be good, and to them that upright in their hearts. And as for those that turn aside into their crooked ways, Yah shall lead them forth into the workers of iniquity, but peace shall be upon Israel. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Deuteronomy 6:4. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. And thou shalt love the Lord with all our heart, with all our soul, and with all our might. And these words which I command these days shall be in thy heart. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk on them when thou sittest in the house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes. And thou shalt write them upon the posts of the house and on thy gates. And it shall be, when the Lord thy God shall brought thee unto the land, which he swore unto our fathers, to Abraham, to Yitzchak, and to Jacob, to give great things, cities and good cities which thou fillest not, and houses of old things which thou fillest not, wells digged thou diggest not, vineyards and olive trees which thou plantest not, and when thou shalt eat and be full. Then beware, lest not forget the Yah, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage. Thou shalt fear the Lord thy God, and shalt serve him, and shalt swear by his name. Ye shall not after go after other gods or the gods of people that shall round about you. For the Lord thy God is a jealous God amongst you, lest the anger of the Lord be coming against thee, and he destroy them from the face of the earth. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Thank you to my daughter for saying the Shabbat prayers, bringing us in with those lovely prayers, even with her sickness right now. I want to give all praise and love and respect and just my all to the Most High, Yah, who has given us everything we want, everything we've needed. I want to Thank you, Father, for this lovely Shabbat day, a day of rest, for allowing us to sit back and be able to have that moment, that peace with you and with family. Most High, you are everything to me and to all those that know you and to those that don't know you. I want to give respect, due respect to Principal, Chief Principal Zavun, my Abba. I also want to give due respect to Maish, Prince Natael, second in command. And I also want to give respect to Prince Natael Ben Lewi, leader of SOG. I also want to send out all prayers to my sister, Sarah, and her family, and Chief Dawi, and to all those that are a part of that family. We lost one of our dear, precious children of Yah, and I just unexpectedly. And I want to just let them know that we are all with them, and I love you, and keep strong. Most High will always lead you through. This evening, a little nervous tonight. I don't know why. Let me loosen up a little bit. I usually look into certain things and try to figure out topics that I think need to be talked about that sometimes don't get talked about in a certain way, and compare it to Torah. I want to give out a shout out to my brother, Professor Dr. Kwazak. Last week gave a lovely lesson, and he kept calling himself Dr. Kwazak. But he had a lot of messages and a lot of keynotes and a lot of things that I was like, dang, don't say that, because that might be in my lesson next week. Because, you know, that's that psychology. And I understand you, Dr. Kwazak. Sorry, Chanel. Love you, girl. But I understood where Kwazak was coming from as far as being Dr. Kwazak and looking into the psychology of our people. This week, I want to talk about the relationship between parents and children, but mainly the father-daughter relationship. I hope that what I say, and I'm coming from a point of my point of view, a lot of people's point of views, research. So don't take my word for everything I might say, but just listen. Take heed, maybe look into or research some more, like I've been doing. I just feel that in our society and in our history, basically in our history leading up until today, as children, we are taught that boys are with their fathers and daughters are with their mothers. And that's what we view, and that's what we see in the streets, in the books, how the daughter gets to learn a lot of the womanly actions and behaviors through her mother, and the boys learn their manly man stuff through their fathers. But I wanted to really dig deeper. I feel that mothers and fathers parent differently, and in those differences, they are uniquely powerful. They impact differently on the opposite sex parent-child relationship. So, like I said, tonight I'm going to dive into that father-daughter relationship and the impact sometimes it may have on her growth and development. And I think that this topic is something deep because I myself am a daughter. I myself am a mother. I myself am a woman. And as a woman, I look at the choices that I've made or the actions or the reactions that I might have to the opposite sex. And I even look at my daughter, although 16 years old, her actions and reactions she has towards the opposite sex. When it comes to even like her brothers and how they argue, or I'm the older child, but her brother who's 13, first male child, I don't have to listen to you, and and they get at it, and it's in joke sometimes, but you can see that certain things are said because of the behaviors and the relationships and the actions of that interaction you have with your parent. And I also, on a daily basis, we all, as we go out in the work field or anywhere we go in the streets and stuff, when we hear about other people's stories, or you might have your girlfriends and they telling you that's in and out of law. They'll tell you stuff of how they feel about men and the difference in, their actions and reactions towards things that they might have done to them. And I start to think like, it's a lot that I've heard, I've seen, I've experienced as a woman. Even in stories of old, we see sometimes actions that are a little skeptical, that you could kind of, as a woman, you might sit back and think like why those things might have happened, or why, but, not creating history, but you have your thoughts, you have your questions, and why we respond the way we do as women. Often enough, we see our sisters nowadays, out and in law, unfortunately, do things, do things to their bodies, or just don't have that esteem anymore, that self-esteem anymore, and allow men to treat them in ways that they feel that they are, I guess that's all it is. This is my worth. And it's sad because it's a lot that's coming into society now. More and more I watch, my children, and I watch the kids around my children, and I watch, I'm in the school a lot with my kids as far as PTA is concerned, and I'm looking at these kids growing up and the daughters. I'm like, what is going on? Because a lot of our daughters are acting like men, in the behavior of men, I guess you want to say, or a lot of our daughters are loose. A lot of our daughters are doing things that you can't I'm just so baffled by. Like, I don't know where it went wrong, and I just question myself daily about this, and I feel pain in my heart because I have my own daughters. I have my own sons. And I would hate for my daughters to think that they have no worth. And I would hate for my sons to be around or get in relationships with women that feel they have no worth. And that's what society is showing us right now. And I just kind of think back and forth about that relationship. I've questioned this. I think I brought it up a couple of times, even in speaking with my Isha about, certain women do things because they didn't have that father figure in their life, or that father figure just, he was there but not involved. And when he laughed at what I said, but I'm like, think about it. A lot of women that are out here nowadays, if you talk to them, or if you even look at these stupid talk shows, or just in general, women often will complain or cry out later after being counseled and say that my father was not in my life, or my father treated me such and such a way, or I watched my father do this to my mother. And these are the behaviors that women grow up with. And I just wanted to talk more about it. Facing things in society right now, and also in the Tanakh, we see things that's talked about with women in the Tanakh, but we don't see too much positive daughter-father relationships. Not to say that there wasn't any, but we don't see them. And, it makes you think. It made me think. We as daughters are powerful. We as daughters are what they say the pillars that stabilize the palace. But we are not told that. Because in today's society, our society has gone all over the place, has gone crazy, I should say. We have no understanding anymore of self-worth and who we are as man and woman. That these relationships, that these understanding relationships that we could have are no longer. I won't say no longer, but they have diminished a great deal. And I want to start, it all stems from that father-daughter relationship. We as women, we were made by the Most High, who was our first father. From a man's rib, our second father. And to be that helpmate and that counterpart. But not too often are we told this or spoke, or if you're not in doing law or not in the church or not, anywhere where it's some kind of spiritual ground, you're not given these words. It's not taught to, to the children in school. Much too often I watch kids just do what they do, and parents just keep on letting them do it. Or kids have no respect for themselves, especially, like I said, these girls. But then you think about it, and you look at all the things, and like I said in Genesis, we were made, women were made to be that counterpart. Help me. But then also too, if you look in Genesis 3, Most High cursed us. And enmity between man and woman. And enmity, if anybody doesn't understand what it means, it would mean, a state or feeling of being opposed or hostile to something that would be, to someone or something. So that's kind of how our generation is right now, where we're so hostile to each other. Women are really hostile, or they taking on, like I said, that male role, thinking that will work or get answers to what is hurting and what is underneath that skin. And then as far as women, we, Most High has cursed us. Desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over her. Husband could be male figure, any male figure in her life. It could be a father, it could be a spouse, or even a brother. We need not to think that husband is just the husband that you married to, but think of it in a male stance that, he said husband, but it's a male stance. We are supposed to, basically our curse was to bow down, to desire. That's our desire. And if we don't have that amongst us, we fail in who we feel we're supposed to be. That self-worth is not there. To rule over someone is to have power, authority, but to protect. And that's what we feel man, that is what man is supposed to do. And I'm going to go into my little psychology research that I did. Research has shown that the role of a father and a daughter plays a significant role in her development. Fathers provide for protection, economic support, and that male role model that she needs. It's different from the relationship you have with your mother. If a father's not involved in your life, where you don't feel that protection, you don't feel that support, you feel alone. Yes, your mother is there, but there's something missing. And the father's, an involved father provides that. He gives that positive outlook, that positive role model, that male, so that she, if he is an understanding and positive and God-fearing man, and she sees that, then that's what she looks to in her husband. And this is very crucial. And in our society, unfortunately, right now, we lack those positive male role models due to a lot of different things. Incarceration, drugs, death, just everything, unfortunately, in our society. And it says like a healthy and positive relationship that he has with his wife is a way a daughter would want to look at and how she would want to act. It also shows that, when you protect and you provide, but also tell her how beautiful she is inside and out. These words, these things from the father is a big significant thing on a daughter's side. Self-esteem, self-confidence, and how she looks at herself, lifelong self-respect. Fathers show how a proper man should treat a proper woman, which gives and sets boundaries and behaviors of the opposite sexes. We often laugh about different things that, fathers should do. I know us sisters, we've been trying so hard to have this father-daughter dance. And sometimes people laugh, the opposite sex, laugh at the idea. And then some of them, they're cool with it, but they also laugh. But, as women, we understand how powerful just having that father-daughter dance, just having that father-daughter moment, how powerful that is on that daughter, and in how she grows up and how she acts, and what, like I said, and what to look for in that next father that she will have when she gets married. And because us as women, we are very observant. We're very observant, and that's what we go off of, observation. That leaves a big impact on our lives. Just a hug, put outings, conversations, sweet things, telling the daughters that they're beautiful. In my situation, I've had my father's in my life. He may not be doing law, but I can say this much. He has been in my life since birth, and he is in my life right now. I would say maybe a little bit too much more now. He's very protective now, and I'm like, Dad, I am 30-something years old with 4 children. But it's actually good because it just shows that he still loves and still wants to be involved in my life and with my children. And he wants to show, even sometimes in his downfalls, that he's still there. And I thank him for that. It helped me in figuring out who and what my worth was. And I just hope that other daughters would have that with their fathers. I watched my daughter with her, Ava, and they have such a relationship that is second to none. Aaliyah could do nothing wrong when it comes to her Ava. But that's his little baby. But it's good because in a way it helps and it gives her a big impact to show her how a man should treat a woman, what she should look for. They have their outings. Sometimes we all get jealous in here. We're like, really? Y'all going out? But it's good. Because not too many daughters could say that. And I know sometimes we kind of tight in here. And I see that my daughter, she has some friends and she has some, I don't want to say friends, but acquaintances, let's say that. And you could see the jealousy that some of them have because of her relationship she has with her father, because a lot of them don't have that, and it's so unfortunate. And sometimes Maish would take that responsibility, and it would hurt him if he would hear of them doing other things that have not self-worth. But not too many men do that. And we just need a lot more fathers nowadays. We need a lot strong, righteous men who would understand that we are suffering. We are suffering as a nation. And we need to have a little more compassion when it comes to the women. It's just the nature. That's in our nature. And we need that. You know, we need to hear certain things. Like Proverbs like in Proverbs 31. Sit down and talk with your daughter about that. Sit down and let her know how, you know, a God-fearing daughter is powerful, is what you want to be. You need to sit down and let them know how important they are as fathers. You need to remember, as a father, and if you're involved or if you're around and you're not involved, get involved. Trust and believe that daughter will grow up differently if she can open up to you and speak to you and feel that this is my protector. You know, you need to remember your task, your job. You know, fathers need to remember that a daughter has certain basics in life that need to be fulfilled. They need affirmation. We need cherishing. We need nurturing, protection. reassurance, appropriate physical touch, which is a hug, integrity, someone who keeps his word and follows through. We need these things in our nation. And as I even look in Israel right now, a lot is going on that people get shocked about. And you can't sometimes. You could get shocked about it, but you also got to look into the psychology of it. Look into what is going on in the household. Look into why that daughter might not be doing what you want. Look into why she is looking outside and not inside. Why doesn't she have that self-worth? Why doesn't she feel that the Most High is where to be? That Torah, law, statutes, and commandments is what we need. It's just much too often nowadays that I see it. And I refuse to allow my daughter to fall. Any of my daughters to fall. And that's, you know, as a relationship with a mother. But I know too much that we put that burden, and I won't say burden, I don't even want to say burden. We put that on mothers to, you know, raise your children, do this, do that. But fathers, let's step up. In this society that we're in this captivity that we're in, for us to not struggle and to not go through what we're going through, we all need to nourish, nurture, protect, reassure. Both man and woman, both father and mother. We always worry about building a nation, and of course we building a nation, we know that that's that male child, and sometimes we might forget that that daughter is also a part of building that nation. So fathers, dance with your daughters, laugh with them, talk with them, and find out what's going on. In this captivity, we need it. We need more involved fathers. It all goes back to Proverbs, like Proverbs 22:6. It all goes back to train up a child in the way he or she should go. Even when he is old, he or she will not depart. Ecclesiasticus 7 in the Apocrypha. Hast thou children? Instruct them, and bow down their neck from their youth. A lot of this hasn't been done. And not in a way that it works. A lot of times, often we think that lashing out and pushing away is going to work. But it doesn't. In this captivity, it doesn't. I'm sorry. We need to work it out together. We need to use Torah, but use Torah and understand Torah in today and how to work with our daughters. Our daughters are struggling out here. And I know it from stories that I've heard, that I hear on a daily basis. And it all ends up a lot of times with the father. I miss my father. My father's not here. And I just hope that we could all understand that. We all have a big impact on our children, and we all need to do what we have to do. But I think that we also need to dig deep and see what could I do for our daughters to be powerful again, to be strong, to not feel that they are not the pillars holding up the palace, because they are. Tonight, I hope everyone got a little bit of something out of what I was trying to say and to touch on. Usually I do, everybody has their niche of what they like to talk about, and I just find mine and I go into the psychology, and I hope I didn't lead anyone astray. I hope that everyone could actually go and let's all work together and see how we can make our daughters better, make them stronger, and also open up the eyes of some fathers who feel that being tough is love. And it can be love. But just that hug, that compassionate touch, those words that I love you and that you are beautiful, mean so much. Those father-daughter dances mean so much. I just thank you, everyone, for listening. And also, I just want to say again, Father, please be with my sister Sarah. For in all the times that she's been dealing with all week, it's been a struggle. But we are all here for you, love you. The Most High will protect you and keep you. And He is the one that has all answers and reasons to the whys that you might have. I love you deeply. I love Yisrael. Hope everyone has a lovely night. And wake up tomorrow and singing and praising to the Most High. Shabbat Shalom.